Coming up on this week's episode, we're talking Sheffield United, the game that everyone was talking about on the weekend, Chelsea versus Aston Villa, and also the North London derby. Liam's got a quiz this week. I've got some more Wonders of White and a Who Am I, so let's get started. Hello and welcome to a new episode of View from the Sideline podcast. It's Chris here and Liam is here as well. Hello Liam.
Hey Chris, how you doing?
I can tell you're smiling. Like a Cheshire cat.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
So it was the View from the Sideline podcast derby. It's the best derby going. Better than any other derby in football.
It is for me at the minute.
It used to be alright for me because Ron Richardson podcast used to be Tottenham all the time. So the View from the Sideline podcast derby seemed to go in my favour all the time. But I mean, even last year we didn't beat you, did we? So
no.
I've nothing to smile about when we play Villa.
No, we don't win at Stamford Bridge very often as a rule. I think I read somewhere that was the first time we'd won 2 years in a row since 1933 or something like that. That might be in your Wonders of White a little bit later on.
I've been present at a Villa game once before, and it was very much one-sided. But if only we could play like that again.
That one doesn't count.
And yes, I have mentioned that game again.
We don't mention that one. That it doesn't count. It wasn't a Villa team that I recognise, so.
I mean, even I didn't recognise that Villa team.
No. I think all Villa fans have put that team like way in the depths of our memory, never to come out.
Guzan has cold sweats in the night.
Yeah. The only thing that was going for us, I think you missed a penalty that day.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
that was the only relief was that it could have been a lot worse. But
it
anyway.
is the highest scoring game that I have been to. So yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about more about Chelsea in a minute. But first, I think we should start with Sheffield United first.
Yeah, from 1-8-0 to another.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, well done. Yeah, I should have done that. What a strange result. I didn't get to see the game, but I was sort of like clicking on and off my phone to see, you know what the score was, and then I kind of saw at half time it was 3-0, and then I looked again and it was 4-0, and I thought, they've won that. I didn't bother looking until probably about half an hour after the game finished, and I saw it was 8-0, and I thought, what's gone wrong here? I mean, seeing the highlights, I mean, the amount of time that Sheffield United defence there was just massive gaps in the defence between the two centre backs. There was I think it was Almiron. He literally ran right through the middle of their two central defenders. He didn't even have the ball. I think the ball was straight to him. And then it was like a dead straight ball straight to him, and no one went near him. It was so strange, and the amount of goals that they scored where the defence just seemed very, very sort of lackluster and just didn't look sort of motivated at all. I mean, there's surely going to be questions asked today of the team, and maybe, even the manager Heckingbottom. I don't know. We've seen managers, well, especially Hassan, who he's the king of losing by about 8 goals, wasn't he? And he still managed to keep his job. So obviously no rash decisions will be made. I did see that they are short on players at the moment. I saw that their injury and suspension list is about 10 at the moment, but I mean, you just don't really expect it. They've got Egan and Robinson, who, in their own right, have played Premier League football before, haven't they?
Yeah,
so, you'd think that they would, they would know how to stop, obviously, them getting through. But
It was a strange game.
Result. What a strange result.
Yeah.
And, I mean, for them, it's not motivating whatsoever. I mean,
No.
and when you think goal difference is so key these days, especially down that end of the table, I mean, you know, that's a huge chunk early on as well.
Yeah, it was surprising how quickly they gave up yesterday. So I did manage to watch most of the game. They were all right to begin with, and as soon as Newcastle scored, their heads dropped, and it was like a different side. There was no fight whatsoever.
The first goal, half of them had their hands in the air, thinking that it had gone out.
Yeah.
Play for the whistle, isn't it? It's not like, they just left themselves so exposed for that first goal.
It just seemed to be like, it's not our day today. Heads dropped, and then Newcastle, honestly, they could have had probably twice the amount of goals that they did actually end up getting. But what I thought was strange was after the game in the interviews, the manager said, "We expect these results." And I thought, well, that's probably the last thing that you want to hear when you've lost 8-0 as a player, to hear your manager come out and say, "Yeah, we expect to get beat like that." It's just thought it was a bit of odd phrasing. I think what he meant to say was, we expect, tough games. We know we're not going to win every game, but it was more about the attitude, and the attitude was awful. It'll be interesting to see how they bounce back. Like you mentioned, Hasenhüttl was king of bouncing back from huge defeats. Southampton were pretty good at it under him. I think every time they lost 9-0, they went out and either won the next game, or they got a draw at Man City, I think, for one of them as well. So it'll be interesting to see if Sheffield United can do the same thing. I'm not sure who their next fixture is. But they just didn't show any fight or willing, it's not the Sheffield United that I've sort of grown up knowing, where they, scrap for everything and really play for the shirt. But I mean, I've got to be honest, even after, I know they were probably about 4 or 5-0 down at this point, but even probably about after an hour, the fans started leaving, and that's not a normal thing for a Sheffield United game. They always stay till the end. A few of them did, but I wouldn't begrudge anybody leaving when it got to 8-0. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like them. It just wasn't. It wasn't a normal Sheffield United day. There was no intense atmosphere like you expect at Bramall Lane. But credit to Newcastle. I think they played well. Obviously, Sheffield United did give them the space. But in order to quieten that crowd and to play as well as they did early on, even when the game was relatively even, Newcastle was still creating chances. And they're looking like a team this year. I mean, they beat us 5-1, beat Sheffield United 8-0, and I think they've lost every other Premier League game. So they're going to be a fun one to watch this year.
Yeah, Sheffield United got West Ham away and then Fulham away next. So, yeah.
Difficult games, West Ham have.
Well, yeah, definitely. And then they got Arsenal, I think, after that. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need to turn it around pretty quickly as well. But they haven't really spent huge amounts, have they? Before the season.
No.
They've got a few loans. I think they got Luke Thomas from Leicester, and they've got James McAtee. Also, they signed Matey from you, didn't they?
Cam Archer. Yeah. Hamer from Coventry came in as well. He's probably been the one bright spark for them, I think, this season. He got a goal the other week, didn't he? And he's looked good. And I know you mentioned Premier League experience, and we've criticised Luton for not really bringing in Premier League experience. But all right, Cam Archer, he's been in a Premier League side. He's not had many minutes in the Premier League, but we know what he's capable of. He's done it in the League Cup and things like that. He's done it on loan in the Championship. So he's got game experience for a young player. And looking at their other signings, okay, Hamer was from the Championship, but Tom Davis they bought in as well. Good Premier League experience there. Like you mentioned, Jack Robinson has played in the Premier League for a number of years, so should be better than that. Norwood was in with the Premier League with them last time around. John Egan, the captain as well, like you mentioned. McBurney, people like that. They stayed with them through the relegation and they brought them back up again. So you would expect them to just show a little bit more fight. I was very surprised by the attitude. It's just not like a Sheffield United side that I remember.
We'll have to wait and see what they can do, because obviously they can't really be having too many more games like that, because they will find themselves in trouble very early. So, we'll move on to the North London derby next. Pretty good game, from what I saw. I mean, quite a few mistakes within the game, and I mean, Declan Rice coming off at half time, I don't think helped Arsenal at all. Because obviously Jorginho was probably at fault for the second Sun goal. A very good game, and two teams that, on paper seem very matched. I mean, at this early stage of the season, those two and Liverpool probably the ones that you think are going to try and mount a challenge on Man City. But I heard today on the radio that someone on TalkSport was dismissing their title chances, both of them, purely on the fact that they don't have that striker like a Haaland in their team. I know Son is scoring a few goals, but I don't think he's ever going to score.
No.
He's never going to make up for the goals that they've lost in Harry Kane. So, I mean, I think we touched on it last week. We were both, I think, surprised at the start that Tottenham have had, considering, they lost Kane, and they lost the goals from him.
Mm-hmm.
But, at present, they seem to be doing pretty well without him. I mean, Maddison and Son are clearly the two players that, they're focusing on, when they're going forward. Maddison is the provider, and Son is the finisher. But you kind of look at Arsenal, their lineup. Eddie Nketiah, I mean, it's a difficult one, because for me, he's not going to get you the goals, is he? When you think about over, the course of a season, and you got Gabriel Jesus as well in the team, and he's playing out wide. So for me, they are missing that key striker. They signed Havertz. I really don't know where they think he plays his best. Whether it's behind the striker or as the number 9. But
yeah, I don't think they know yet. I think he's already played in a couple of different positions, and they're not getting the best out of him at the moment. I know there's a long way to go, but yeah, I think even if they were to play him in the right position, like you say, just behind that striker, he still needs someone up there with him that's going to get 25 goals a year.
It was a very even game, though. I think Tottenham just picked it on possession, but shots-wise and everything else, they were just cancelling each other out, really. If you go back and look at the stats, it was a close game, and to be fair, a draw probably does them both good, really. I mean, I think it's Villa that are just behind them at the moment, so...
Yeah, Villa and Brighton representing at the top of the table, but like you say, Arsenal, I think, are lacking a world-class striker. I know Nketiah got an England call-up, but I don't personally see what he's done to fully deserve it just yet. I think he needs to go on a decent run, get a good season behind him where he gets 15 to 20 goals so he can prove himself.
Yeah.
Spurs, we said last season that they were lacking a lot in midfield. I still don't think they're as good as the teams around them, but I think they've unearthed a really good player in Sarr. He's looked good every time I've seen him play. I don't think he had his best game against Arsenal, but just his presence and his energy, I think, is something that Spurs have been lacking for the last couple of seasons. So I think he's fitted in really well. Basuma's started playing with a little bit of form as well at the start of this season, which was, it's been a little while in coming. I'm now looking at Spurs' defence. I mean, we were talking before the game about the people that lost points on Fantasy League for having Romero in the side. But it is those kind of individual errors. I mean, I can't blame him for the own goal. That's not. There's not much you can do. It's a deflected shot that's gone in. But it's things like the penalty. Just having your arm in that position in the first place is always going to give you problems.
Dangerous.
It's little things like that you probably wouldn't get from a Ruben Dias or a Van Dijk or something, someone like that, a world-class defender. So, they're getting there, Spurs. They are getting there. They're playing well. I still think there's a few gaps, and I think maybe come the end of the season, there'll be a few games they'll look back on that they'll have dropped points on that they probably wouldn't have expected to. But it's a good step forward for them this year, and I think it's the closest they've been for a good sort of 18 months, 2 years to Arsenal. So to see them go to Arsenal and to match them in every way, I think they'll come away the happier team with that result. But it was a really good game. It was end to end, and you never know with those derbies. They can either be full of goals, full of talking points like they were at the weekend, or it can be the most boring 0-0 you ever see because neither team wants to concede. So it was nice to see two teams go and really attack the game. And they made a real spectacle of it.
And just lastly on it, obviously David Raya coming in from Brentford. He was picked ahead of Ramsdale on Sunday. So it's just obviously what's going to happen there, because obviously for Ramsdale he wants to be England number one as well, but he's not going to be England number one if he's sat on the bench week in, week out. So it might be a rotational thing, maybe. 1 week, one plays the other week. And obviously they got Champions League as well, so
he's mentioned using substitutes, hasn't he? For starting Raya on the bench and bringing him on to change a game.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really dangerous. As a defence, I think you like to know who's behind you at all times. You like to trust the person behind you at all times, and just changing midway through a game, I just think it can only lead to disruption and a bit of confusion in your back line. I do feel sorry for Ramsdale, and I don't think he's done much particularly wrong.
Oh yeah, especially this season. He's done anything wrong, really.
No, I've always said he's a great shot stopper. He's got really good reflexes. He gets across his goal really well. He's quick. He's not bad with his feet, I don't think. I think, personally, he is who I would put as England's number one. But with Pickford playing so often, it makes sense for him to stay at number one for the moment until he lets England down. But on ability, I think Ramsdale's definitely up there with the best of them at the minute, and I feel a little bit sorry for him that he's going to be spending a bit of time on the bench, but it's going to make either of them unhappy to sit on the bench. I thought personally Raya was going to come and be second choice. It's only a loan for now, so really he's only going to be there a maximum of a season anyway, unless they decide to make that loan permanent. But if he's been sat on the bench for a year, he probably wouldn't want to join and make it permanent. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me to keep him on the bench. But one of them is going to be an unhappy keeper, I think, by the end of this.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that one. I suppose we better talk about it. The Chelsea Villa game yesterday.
I've been waiting patiently.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty even game. I mean, I think Villa created the more chances, but I felt that before the sending off, Chelsea, although they hadn't created as many chances, I thought they had the better chances. It just seems to be the same old for Chelsea. They just can't seem to find the back of the net. I mean, when Sterling got through on goal, it just felt for me that he got lost. He didn't know whether to pass or to shoot, and by the time he'd been tackled. So, Yeah, and obviously I guess the sending off sort of swayed the game into your direction really, and as soon as we were down to 10 men, you could see straight away that the amount of pressure, that the Chelsea defence were under. We just seemed to be dwindling in numbers when you were on the attack, and we managed to withstand it for a good 15 minutes. But I think it was inevitable that you were going to get the goal. I mean, I was a bit annoyed really with the goalie, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Sanchez, because he'd made some really, really good saves throughout the game.
Yeah.
And then, to get it in from that angle, I mean, it would have had to be some strike, but when the goalkeeper's got his legs open, I mean, it wasn't great, if I'm honest, but, no. we could have been a couple down if it wasn't for him, so.
He did make some cracking saves in the first half. I thought we looked all right in the first half. I thought we were. I don't want to say better. It was an even game in chances in the first half. Sanchez made a couple of great saves, but they were all long range shots from us mostly. But then the second half, I do actually think Poch figured out how to play against us. We were playing with a ridiculously high line again. And you had, I think, 2 or 3 one-on-one chances. Yeah. Not all of them were offside either. There was a few times where you genuinely got in. I think you actually scored twice, didn't you? And they were both ruled out for offside. There might have only been one or.
It was Zazi's header, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We just kept getting caught offside with free kicks. It was just we kept getting caught offside. Yeah,
there was a few really big chances that you think if you'd have just held your run for another 2 seconds, you'd have been in. But yeah, like you say, sending off changed the game. I do think you figured us out in the second half, and I think if there was going to be a winner, it probably would have been Chelsea. But as soon as that red card happened, you changed your shape a little bit, allowed us to come onto you a bit more and played more on the counter attack, and still looked dangerous, but.
Yeah, we did.
Just that final pass, like you say, that final shot, you're getting in the right positions, but you can just tell you're not a team that's high on confidence at the minute.
I mean, I thought Mudryk had one of his better games, if I'm honest.
Yeah, he created quite a lot. He did a few assists. He was
giving Matty Cash a bit of a headache down that side, and this is the first time I'd seen Mudryk actually, try and take people on and then actually get a half decent ball into the box. So, I mean, he was playing well. Like you said, second half up until the sending off, we were creating a lot of chances, but we just couldn't score. It just wouldn't. And it's not like we even really tested your goalie, really, did we? When you think about it.
There's a few one-on-ones that he managed to save. I think the Chilwell one, I can't remember, was it straight after we scored? I think Chilwell went up the other end and had a one-on-one. That was a decent save, but other than that, it was just coming out and making himself big. I think there was a Sterling chance. He just spread himself and Sterling hit him in the chest. There's a lot of those kind of chances where obviously Martinez has come away with a save, but it's just coming out and blocking a shot. It's not, he didn't make a diving save. It wasn't going in the top corner or anything like that. He just came out and smothered it. So, but yeah, I've got to admit, I am a little bit nervous about our high line. It looks like it's an Emery tactic.
Oh yeah, we were finding, especially Jackson, because he is quite quick. He's deceivingly quick. I mean, we just need a goal. We got Brighton Wednesday in the EFL Cup, so I'm hoping Brighton just put our reserve side to just bang some goals in, even though I probably won't even beat them. But refereeing yesterday was a bit contentious.
Yeah.
I think we discussed earlier, the sending off was a sending off, but the amount of replays it took the referee to come to the decision, I thought was a bit strange. I thought if you've had to view it 15 times, I think maybe you're kind of questioning if it should be a red card or not, but it was a red card. Finishing the first half a minute and well, 90 seconds too early.
Yeah.
That was a bit strange.
That was, and there was a number of, there was a number of like smaller incidents that I just didn't figure out where they came from. So that
2-on-1.
Yeah.
When you got through on goal and you had two against one, he brought it back for a free kick.
Yeah. There was there was just a few, like, I don't know, I think there was one point where your player went down under a tackle from one of our players and he gave the free kick to us. And it was just, there was some really, like, I think you're right. The major decision I think he did get right. But there was just a few little decisions dotted around over the park that I was just watching thinking, well, how's he come to that decision? It was the counter-attack that we were on was frustrating because it wasn't even a case of our players are behind him or anything like that. They were clearly in view and bearing down on goal. Like, they were in his eye line.
It's Thiago Silva, so you had the pace, and that would have killed the game off there and then. Yeah. That would have been 2-0, would have been done. Yeah, it was strange. I thought he's brought it back clearly for a Chelsea free kick, and it was a Villa free kick, and I was thinking, well, was he not playing on?
It wasn't even like a major foul. It was like a small tug on the shirt that I don't even think our player went down for. It was just a strange decision. And yeah, the first half ending, it was like a minute, 90 seconds too early. All the players just looked very confused.
Well, they were trying to say to him, there's still time on the game.
That is the thing that I really didn't understand was that, and referees, I don't know whether they're told not to do it, but they just don't engage. Like, you watch a rugby game, I know we can hear the mics of the referees in a rugby union game, so it seems like they're interacting with the players more. But when a player goes up, like he's blowing for half time, no one went up aggressively to him. There was just a few players that were questioning why he's blowing the whistle, and he just he just shakes his head. No, away you go. There was no answer. There was nothing like, the board was a mistake or something like that. It was just very odd. Very, very odd. And I don't like that with referees. I'd like them to show a bit more of a human side and actually talk to players. But maybe it's because they're not mic'd up that we don't see it very often. But he just seemed very dismissive in the game. I think any time a decision was questioned, he just walked away. It was very odd. Very odd.
Strange. I mean, who've you got next?
That is a good question. I'm not actually too sure. We have got Everton in the League Cup Wednesday night.
Oh, you got Brighton.
Right.
Home to Brighton.
12:30 kickoff as well.
You've got a nice home tie in the Europa Conference next week against Zurich.
Yeah, I'm glad that we could talk about a win this week because I wasn't too happy with our midweek performance.
We've got Fulham and Burnley next, both away.
Two very winnable games.
Yeah, but then we go on a run of Arsenal at home, Brentford at home, Tottenham away, City at home, Newcastle away, Brighton at home, and Man United at home. So,
wow.
We need to start scoring some goals, or we're going to find ourselves in a bit of bother. But yeah, that's it for part one. We're back in part two where Liam's got a quiz, but I'm not too sure what it's about. He's messaged me and I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah.
It's very, very much a Marmite quiz. You're either going to love it or absolutely loathe this one, but we'll see.
Let's see. As a Who Am I and some more Wonders of White. So we'll be back in part two. Hello and welcome back to part two of this week's episode, and we're going to go into some Wonders of White. So the first one, it actually touches on something we spoke about earlier, about Newcastle. So Newcastle, the first team in the Premier League history to have 8 different players score in a single game, excluding own goals. So you had Longstaff, Byrne, Botman, Wilson, Gordon, Almiron, Guimaraes and Isaac.
They did share it around, and could have been many
the
more.
definition after. Can you tell me the previous record, which was 7? I'll give you another
7.
clue. It might be that game that I went to.
Oh, no. No, I can't.
It was actually joint. So it was Chelsea Villa in December 2012 and Man United versus Southampton in 2021.
I just want to say that game, the one that we don't talk about but always end up talking about, that was, I want to say Boxing Day. Was it a Boxing Day game?
No, because I've never been to, but it was a week before. It might have been a week, 2 weeks before Christmas.
It was close enough to ruin Christmas. Like, that is a horrible memory for me. I know I probably would have been about 22 at the time, but it ruined Christmas for that year.
I've got the match. I'll have to send you the match program so you can have a little look at it.
I'm quite all right, cheers, mate.
Right.
Yeah. Go on, I'll just look it up online.
Okay, all right. Okay, that was an additional one because I was looking through the stats, and then I thought, wow, there must be a team who's had 7 different goals. It came straight up, and I was like, I've got to add this to the thing.
I'll let you have it.
Yeah. Kieran Trippier is the second player in the Premier League history to assist 3-headed goals in a single game. I mean, the level, the one he's on level with. I mean, we would be here for weeks if I asked you to guess this player's name.
Because so three assists, 3-headed goals that they assisted.
Yeah. So this was the joint with that is from February 2015, and it was the game between Crystal Palace and West Ham. And player
Milivojevic?
No, it's Jason Puncheon. I'd say.
Oh, okay, yeah, I would have been here all day. Yeah.
This one, I mean, is a cracker. In 72 Premier League visits as a manager to face Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool and Manchester United, David Moyes has won 0 of them. He's drawn 21 and lost 51. He's lost his last 13 trips to those 4 teams.
And he was so desperate to beat United when he was Everton manager, and then the second he left, Everton came to Old Trafford and beat him as well.
Yeah.
That was, yeah. Wow.
So, yeah. That's a shocker. That's a really shocker.
That is a shocker, yeah.
And this one is another Chelsea one. So it's about Mr. Gusto that got sent off yesterday.
Yep.
So he's only 20. So 20 years and 128 days. He's the 3rd youngest Chelsea player to receive a red card in the Premier League. So in 2004, at 19 years old and 264 days, was Robert Hoof.
Oh, yeah. I also forget he played for you.
The record holder is for John Obi Mikel. He was 19 and 175 days against Reading in 2006.
Wow.
I also think that is the game, the Petr Cech game, where he got in the head. I think it's that game. I think it was that game, because after that it did. I think Reading actually got some sent off as well at the same time. But yeah, that was. I think that's that game. So yeah.
Good facts.
Yeah, good facts. Okay, let's get on with this quiz.
Shall we do this? Right. Okay.
Yes.
I'll be interested to see how this goes. So it's slightly different this week.
I'm not going to lie.
So this week it's all about connections.
Right. Okay.
So I'm going to give you some clues for each question, and you've basically got to find the link or the connection or the next in the. Yeah, I'll explain it as I go. So there are a couple of extra points available, if I can remember to tell you which question they're available for. So I've started off fairly easy. Are you ready for question number 1?
I'm ready for question number 1.
Okay. So what connects these 4 players?
Right.
Romelu Lukaku, Nemanja Matic, Graham Lasso, and David Luiz.
Well, I mean, there's an obvious connection that they've all played for Chelsea. But
that is, but there's a little bit more.
There's a little bit more. Okay, Graham Lasso is a bit of a curveball. I'm not going to lie.
You are close, but there's just a little bit. They've all played for Chelsea.
Actually, no. I think I've got this one now. Are these players that have played for Chelsea twice?
Correct.
Yeah.
They are indeed players that have played for Chelsea twice.
Matic, yeah. I mean, Lasso was a huge curveball. It was that question.
Yeah. To be fair, I didn't even know that until this afternoon when I was putting this quiz together. There is a bonus point on offer.
Yeah.
Because there is one more player that has played for Chelsea twice. Can you name him?
Oh my word. Oh. Right, I'm going to have to get my...
This is in the Premier League. Yeah, this is in the Premier League era, by the way. I don't think this, when I was researching this, I don't think it was before 1992.
Drogba?
Correct, Didier Drogba.
Yeah.
Yes, 2 spells at Chelsea. Just players that Drogba sort of wanted to leave because he was getting on a bit, but yeah, players that you sold and then bought back again.
They needed him back. That was the problem. He left. He stopped scoring goals and he came back and he started scoring goals again. So, yeah.
Right. Question number 2 is going to get a little bit more tricky now, but I'll try and give you some clues if you need them. Question number 2. What connects these 4 moments? We've got Alexis McAllister versus Manchester United in May 2023. Alex Iwobi versus Newcastle in March 2022. Bruno Fernandes versus Brighton in September 2020. And Dejan Kulusevski versus Sheffield United in September 2023.
Right, okay. When was the Kulusevski one?
Kulusevski is versus Sheffield United in September 2023.
September 2023. So that's like now.
Yeah, it was the other week, I think.
Kulusevski. Just run through him again.
So Alexis McAllister versus Manchester United in May 2023. Alex Iwobi against Newcastle in March 2022. Bruno Fernandes against Brighton in September 2020. And Dejan Kulusevski against Sheffield United in September 2023. There's something that connects all 4 of those moments. If you need a helping hand, I'll see what I can do.
So it was McAllister. Who was the middle player? McAllister?
Iwobi versus Newcastle in March 22. Bruno Fernandes versus Brighton in September 2020. And Kulusevski.
Yeah, no, I can't think of anything.
I'll see if I can give you a clue. So it's it's a record. So each one of them is a particular record within the Premier League. It's the top 4 of a certain.
Okay.
Can't say too much without giving it away fully.
Well, they're all sort of midfielders. They're all. Is this something like the latest goals in the Premier League, or?
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, God.
I'll give you the point for that because that was a lot of thinking.
I spun that out of nowhere.
Yeah. They're the 4 latest Premier League goals to win games. That's probably about as hard as they get, I think. So well done. Well done on that. Question number 3. Yeah. What feat connects these 4 players? Andy Cole versus Ipswich in 94-95. Alan Shearer versus Sheffield Wednesday in 99-2000. Jermaine Defoe versus Wigan in 2009-10, and Dimitar Berbatov versus Blackburn in 2010-11.
This players that have scored 5 goals in a game? Or, hang on. Is that, 4 or 5? 5.
Correct. It is indeed. Players that have scored 5 goals in a game. There is another player who scored 5 goals in a game, so there is an extra point up for grabs if you can name him.
5 goals in a game. No.
Any guess?
Is it a recent one?
More recent than those, yeah. They were in order.
Okay. No, my mind's gone blank.
Unlucky. You got the main part of the question right,
Yeah.
but the fifth was Sergio Aguero. Scored 5 goals. 5 goals for Man City. Right, it's a sequence one up next. Who is next in this sequence? Nemanja Vidic, 2013. Vincent Kompany, 2014. John Terry, 2015.
Oh, bloody hell. Vidic 2013. Terry 2015. Well, I'm assuming it's going to be 2016, but that's just my...
It is 2016. There's no spoilers there.
So you said Vidic. Who was the second one, sorry?
Nemanja Vidic, 2013. Vincent Kompany, 2014. John Terry, 2015. And then blank.
Oh, this is a bit of a thinker, this one. Oh my word.
I'll see if I can think of a clue.
This one's hard. So 2016, so this is going to be, so they're all defenders, so that's it's leading me to either clean sheets or red cards or...
I'll stop you from going down the wrong route and give you a clue. It's more about what... No. It was more about something that was achieved in each year that isn't necessarily like stats related. It's more to do with trophies, I suppose, without giving it away.
So Vidic, Vincent Kompany, John Terry, 2016. I have no idea. I'll just say Vincent Kompany again.
I think he was the year after. It's Wes Morgan, 2016.
Right. So this is
if you can tell me why.
Well, this is.
I'll give you half a point.
Well, they've won the league, so
yeah.
And I guess they're captains.
Correct.
That have won the league.
Yeah, they were the Premier League winning team captains for those years. So I'll give you half a point for that because you got the link in the end, even if you didn't get the last one. So it's fine. This one is the one I genuinely love writing it. I don't know whether you're going to get it right or not, but you're going to get a massive kick out of this one. Okay, so what connects these clues? John Barnes did it in 1990. Paul Gascoigne did it in 1990. Glenn Hoddle and Chris Waddle did it together in 1987. And the Yeovil Town squad did it in 2004. I've just added it in there because I saw Yeovil come up when I was looking at this and I thought I've got to include some question about this.
It's just so random. It's just so random.
So it's this. I'll give you a little bit of a clue for this one. So this is not really football related. It's kind of away from football. They did something extracurricular to football in those years.
Okay, right. Extracurricular.
I'd say John Barnes from 1990 is probably the biggest clue. Something that we all know him for.
Is this to do with singing? Is this
Correct,
to do with something to do with singing?
Yeah, I'll give you that. So they all had UK top 40 singles.
Yeah.
In those years. So John Barnes, obviously.
Yeah.
With World in Motion, New Order. Paul Gascoigne had a song out in 1990 with Lindisfarne. Glenn Hoddle and Chris Waddle made it to number 12 in 1987. And the Yeovil Town Squad made it to number 36 in 2004. Did you know this, Chris? Because this was new on me.
What, is it a song with the Wurzels?
I don't actually know. I'll have to find out about... Hang on. Right, let me research it. It may well be with the Wurzels. Knowing Yeovil Town, I might have to come back to you. It's called Yeovil True.
Yeah.
It doesn't say that it was with the Wurzels, but it was called Yeovil True, and it made it to number 36 in the official UK singles chart in 2004.
There you go.
I thought you'd enjoy that.
I mean, the song. Unfortunately, the song was based on a war song called "Two Little Boys," which was also made famous by Rolf Harris. So.
Okay, well, I did not know this. I haven't listened to it, but anyway, we'll move swiftly on from that. We'll move on to question number 6. You're doing very well so far because this is probably the most difficult quiz I've put together. What links these 4 people? Joe Mercer. Howard Wilkinson.
Hang on, you threw me with Joe Mercer. Go on.
Okay, Joe Mercer, Howard Wilkinson, Peter Taylor, and Stuart Pearce.
Right. Well, they're definitely. Oh. Howard Wilkinson, Stuart Pearce. I have no idea. I think it might be something to do with England, but I'm not sure.
It is something to do with England.
Yeah.
I'll let you have that as a clue. It is something to do with England. Not necessarily playing for them.
Oh, I don't know. Have they all been assistant managers for England?
Do you know what? You're so close. I'll give you half a point for it. They've all been England's caretaker manager. We've only ever had 4 caretaker managers.
Okay.
Joe Mercer, Howard Wilkinson, Peter Taylor, and Stuart Pearce. And I've got a fun fact, because while I was researching this, I loved a fun fact. Peter Taylor was the first England manager to make David Beckham captain. There you go. Who knew? Question number 7. What football club connects these 4 players? Nick Powell, Dean Ashton, Danny Murphy, and David Platt. They all played for a club.
Dean Ashton. David Platt. That's a random one. That's again.
That is a blast from the past. Villa legend David Platt, so I had to include him. Villa isn't the answer, by the way.
I was about to say, you haven't given me the answer. Say him again.
Nick Powell.
Powell.
Dean Ashton, Danny Murphy, and David Platt.
I think Dean Ashton only really played for like a handful of teams. But it ain't Norwich and it ain't West Ham, so I'm missing the link. I'm missing the other
In fact,
team.
I think they all started at this club. I want to say. They might be wrong, but they all probably played for this club quite early in their career.
Yeah, I am going to have to wave the white flag on this one because I cannot think. Because Dean Ashton I know has only played, well, in my head, has only played for Norwich and West Ham, so I'm assuming this is where Norwich bought him from.
I'm just researching. Yes, it is where Norwich bought him from. Yeah, it's Crewe Alexandra.
Oh, yeah.
They all play for Crewe. And
I wouldn't have got that one.
Their prolific academy. Seth Johnson as well, Robbie Savage all came through there. Okay, no points for that one. I can't give you any for that. What links these 4 clues? Tim Flowers, 72 seconds in 1995. Stephen Gerrard, 38 seconds in 2015. Dave Kitson, 37 seconds in 2007. And Keith Gillespie, 12 seconds in 2007.
Okay, so this is... Well, it's definitely not goals. Tim Flowers in there.
No. I could
say the names again. Yeah, just say the names.
Tim Flowers, Stephen Gerrard, Dave Kitson, and Keith Gillespie.
Yeah, I'm just working in my head what this could be because it's not going to be goals, it's not going to be saves, so it's going to have to be... There's only one stat really that they all share, and that's cards. So this is more than likely because I vaguely remember Gerrard. Is this like fastest sendings off?
It is indeed. Yes.
Yeah.
They're the 4 fastest red cards in Premier League history. Keith Gillespie after 12 seconds. That is pretty impressive.
That was 4 outfield players. I never would have got that.
Yeah, that's why I thought Tim Flowers being in there kind of gives you a chance because it, like you say, couldn't be goals or assists really. So yeah, they're the 4 fastest red cards in Premier League history. Who is next in this list?
Oh God, these are the hard ones.
Excuse me a second. Who is next in this list? Aaron Lennon, August 2003. Izzy Brown, May 2013. Matthew Briggs, May 2007. Harvey Elliott, May 2019. And then blank. Who comes next in that list? I will accept it if you don't give me their name. If you can just give me the link between each of them, that will easily get you the point.
It was Lennon,
Aaron Lennon, Izzy Brown, Matthew Briggs, Harvey Elliott, and blank.
Well, they're all English, so...
They are all English.
Would the connection be maybe something to do with under 21 players?
You're not far away.
Ooh, I'm close.
You are close.
Maybe under 18 players.
I think you need to drop the nationality.
Okay, so are they the... I've got to think of an actual name here, haven't I?
I will give you the point if you just get the link between them. But if you can name the next person in the list, I'll give you a bonus point.
Youngest Premier League goal scorers?
Oh, so close. So close.
The youngest.
Just think a bit less specific.
I don't know. Just the youngest scorers.
They're just the youngest players to play in the Premier League.
Youngest players.
In that's in order of how old they were when they played.
So have I got to try and think of a name as well?
So if you can get the youngest player in the Premier League, I will give you a point.
Youngest ever. Have you got like a year?
I do. September 2022.
Oh, hang on. That's like not.
Yeah, this player is currently. He was born in 2007 and he is currently 16 years old.
What's his name? He's an Arsenal player, isn't he?
He is an Arsenal player. He was 15.
That's ridiculous. I bet he's out on loan now. His first name begins with an E. I'm sure of it, like an Ethan, Elliot.
You're right first time.
Yeah. He's Ethan.
He's Ethan.
Yeah, I'm not going to get that surname though.
No, he's Ethan Nwaneri.
Yeah.
Who
remember that now.
Made his debut last season. I think it was last season.
I think we actually spoke about that a year ago. I think.
Yeah, 15 years old. That is crazy. I'll give you half a point because you got the youngest element to it.
How many have I got? How many points have I got?
I'm going to have to add this up now. So you got 2 points on the first question. Second one you got right, so that's 3. Third one you got right, so that's 4. 4.5. 5.5. 6. 7. 7.5 out of 9 so far. You got one question left, and that is, what football club links these 4 celebrities? You got Prince William, Tom Hanks, Brendan Gleeson, and Simon Le Bon.
Aston Villa.
Correct. I just had to add that in there. You got your Chelsea question at the beginning.
Prince William.
Yeah, they are all famous Aston Villa fans.
Good to know you got a few others.
Yeah, we've got a few. 8.5 out of 10.
That's
not too bad.
I'm not going to lie,
too bad
I'm
at all.
Sweating a little bit.
There's a few painful ones in there, but I just thought it was worth doing something different this week.
Yeah.
It's fun putting that one together. Your turn to make me sweat now.
Okay, who am I?
Yes.
So it's a retired player.
Okay.
So I can give you all of the teams, but you're going to get it straight away because we've already mentioned him in the podcast.
Nice.
So yeah, great. Le Mans, Guingamp, Marseille, Chelsea, Shanghai Shenhua, Galatasaray, Chelsea, Montreal Impact, and Phoenix Rising. So it's whittled it down to only 5 players because you actually gave me a question on this already.
I did. We should plan this a little bit better, shouldn't we? Really? So that would be Didier Drogba.
It is Didier Drogba. So I did that because I was thinking of his goals that he scored for Chelsea. I think 2 of them right now.
Wasn't going to be Graham Lasso, was it? Graham Lasso wasn't going to play out in Montreal.
He played exactly 500 games in his club career. Across all the teams he played for, exactly 500, scoring 212 goals.
It's not too bad, is it? It's
his Chelsea record was pretty good, 226 appearances, 100 goals exactly. His Ivory Coast record, though, was pretty decent. It's 105 games he played, he scored 65 goals.
Not bad at all, is it, really? That for international football, that is a pretty good ratio, you've got to say.
So yeah, I mean, wherever he's been, he has scored quite a few goals. But yeah, I guess he's up there with Chelsea's best ever signings.
Yeah, struggled to replace him, I think, haven't you?
Yeah.
Really? I don't think there's been a striker since him. Maybe Diego Costa for a year or 2, but
we haven't had that spine really in the Big 5 club since Terry Lampard and Drogba and Cech moved on. You know, that was all reliable.
The glory years.
Yeah. starting to reminisce a little bit now. That's all I got now is memories.
It's all the memories. At least you got a few European trophies. Don't worry, mate. I've been dining on ours since 1982.
Yeah, I'll have to start showing the kids the Champions League finals and stuff. Just to prove that, at one stage they were pretty good. So, yeah, cool. Anything else, Liam?
Not this week.
So we'll be back next week.